Okay, so imagine this, right? It's Christmas 1864, but instead of, the usual carols and presents and all that,
Yeah.
President Lincoln gets a really unique gift,
Okay.
the captured city of Savannah.
Wow.
And this wasn't just some like random holiday surprise.
Mhm.
This is a strategic victory. It was delivered by General Sherman, at the end of his infamous March to the Sea.
The March to the Sea. Yeah.
And that's just one piece of what we're looking at today. You've given us some pretty amazing sources,
I have.
and they all focus on a few key moments in that last year of the Civil War.
Yeah, and I think they give us a really fascinating perspective, like how these military actions and the political stuff and all the social upheaval, how it's all connected.
Exactly, yeah. So we're going to dig into the fall of Fort Fisher,
Okay.
which seemed like this invincible fortress.
Right.
But it was guarding, the Confederacy's last lifeline.
It was.
And then we'll unpack Sherman's march,
Of course, yeah.
tactics, the consequences.
Yes. Mm.
And then we'll actually witness the whole political chess game that led to the 13th Amendment.
Really? The whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a story of bravery and hardship and, the fight for freedom itself, really.
It is. It's a chance to really understand how those events on the battlefield, they directly shaped, the course of history.
Yeah.
They impacted millions of lives.
Exactly. So let's rewind the clock a bit.
Okay.
It's January 1865.
All right.
The Confederacy's struggling.
Yeah,
Resources are dwindling.
they were.
And their last hope for getting supplies, it rests on Fort Fisher, this massive earthwork fortification.
Yeah.
It was guarding the port of Wilmington, North Carolina.
The very important port.
Oh, incredibly important.
And that fort, it wasn't easy to take down. It was designed to withstand like the heaviest bombardments. They had
Exactly.
layers of sand,
Yeah.
to absorb the impact of those incoming shells.
And bombarded it was. I mean,
Yeah.
the Union Navy, under Rear Admiral David Porter,
Porter.
they unleashed a 2-day naval assault.
Wow.
Like nothing anyone had ever seen.
I can imagine.
So picture this, okay? A fleet of nearly 60 warships
60.
packed with hundreds of cannons,
Wow.
all aimed at this one fort.
It's hard to even imagine.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It really is. And, the sources we have, they describe it as like a scene straight out of hell.
Oh, wow.
The air was thick with smoke. The sea was churning from the explosions.
Yeah.
And the fort itself, it was just disappearing under this constant barrage of fire.
It's hard to fathom the scale of it all.
It really is. And the Confederate commander, Colonel William Lamb,
Wow.
he described it as a sheet of fire and metal.
Wow.
And he was desperately pleading for reinforcements.
He knew if they lost that fort,
Oh, yeah. He knew if Fort Fisher fell, the Confederacy was done.
it was over.
Yeah.
And, those pleas, they went unanswered, basically.
He did. Why is that?
Well, you see, the Confederate leadership was, they were kind of facing their own problems,
Oh, right. Struggling to get troops together and resources, too, as the war just kept dragging on.
So it was really a losing battle from the start, it sounds like.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So the Confederate soldiers fought hard,
They did.
but Fort Fisher fell to the Union forces,
Yeah.
and it was just this devastating blow to the Confederacy because it cut off their last major supply route.
And you know what? It's worth stopping here for a second and thinking about, like, the ripple effect of this loss, It wasn't just about supplies.
Right.
It was morale, too. Imagine how this hit the Confederate soldiers.
Oh, they were already dealing with shortages and setbacks.
Exactly. So when Fort Fisher fell, it really signaled that, things were changing.
Things were turning.
And that hope was fading fast.
And then, if the fall of Fort Fisher was like a gut punch,
Yeah.
Sherman's March to the Sea was a knockout blow.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's shift gears a little.
Okay.
Head to November 1864.
Atlanta has fallen, and Sherman sets off with, get this, 62,000 battle-hardened troops.
Wow.
And they're marching through the heart of Georgia.
That's a lot of men.
It is. And this wasn't just a military campaign,
No.
This was a statement.
What kind of statement?
Sherman, he wanted to cripple the Confederacy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Infrastructure, their supply lines, break their will to fight.
He was determined.
And he did it, he did it in a way that's still debated today.
Oh, really?
He really embraced this concept of hard war.
Hard war.
He believed the fastest way to end the bloodshed was to make the South, feel the full weight of the war.
I see.
And one tactic that really stands out was the destruction of the railroads.
Yeah.
His troops would heat the rails
Get them red hot.
until they could bend them, and then they'd twist them around trees.
Wow.
They call them Sherman's neckties.
Sherman's neckties.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? Miles and miles of twisted, unusable track.
That's an image that sticks with you.
It does. It does.
Mhm.
But the march, it wasn't just about destroying infrastructure.
Right.
It was about surviving off the land, too.
Yeah, okay.
Sherman's troops, they were ordered to forage liberally,
Forage liberally.
which basically meant taking food and supplies from the local population.
I see.
And, well, this whole foraging thing, it was controversial, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some soldiers, yeah, they acted with restraint.
But others,
Others, well, they got caught up in looting and destruction.
leaving a trail of resentment behind them.
They did. And, we have to remember, this march, it cut right through the heart of the Confederacy.
Right through it.
It wasn't just military targets that were impacted.
Yeah.
It was farms, homes, and the lives of ordinary Southerners.
A lot of whom had already lost so much.
Exactly. And think about, the fear, the uncertainty
Yeah.
that those people must have felt taught in the path of this march.
Their whole world was being turned upside down.
And their future. I mean, who knew what would happen?
Yeah.
The sources describe, families hiding valuables,
Makes sense.
watching helplessly as their crops and livestock were taken.
And fearing for their safety, too.
Of course. And in the middle of all this chaos, this destruction,
Yeah.
there's a tragedy that unfolds at Ebenezer Creek.
Ebenezer Creek.
Hundreds of formerly enslaved people, they were following Sherman's army, hoping to reach freedom.
Right.
But they got separated from the troops at a river crossing.
Oh, no.
It's heartbreaking. Many of them drowned.
It is a heartbreaking story.
It really highlights the dangers
The dangers.
faced by those fleeing slavery, caught between these warring armies.
Desperate for a chance at a better life.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder that the fight for freedom, it was often really perilous.
There was.
There was no guarantee of safety or even success, really.
And, it also shows us the complex reality of war.
It does.
Sherman's march, yeah, it helped the Union win, but it also caused so much suffering.
On both sides.
And those scars, they took generations to heal.
They did. It
Yeah.
definitely gives us a lot to think about, especially the ethics of Sherman's tactics,
The ethics, yeah.
But there's another layer to this story that we need to unpack.
Okay.
The political maneuvering behind the 13th Amendment.
So it's December 1864.
Okay.
The war is, it's getting close to the end.
Right.
But slavery, well, its fate is still up in the air.
I see.
Lincoln, he sees this window of opportunity,
He does.
Yeah. And he sets his sights on, well, permanently abolishing slavery.
Through a constitutional amendment.
Exactly.
Wow. And this wasn't just symbolic, right?
No, not at all.
This was about cementing freedom and equality.
Into the very foundation of the nation.
But the sources, they make it clear this was not going to be easy.
Oh, absolutely not.
It was full of political obstacles.
Lincoln was facing some serious opposition, even within his own party.
Really?
A lot of people, they just didn't think the amendment could pass.
With a wartime Congress, they were already so divided.
Exactly.
So he had to become this master strategist.
He did.
He had to use everything he had to push this thing through.
Every tool at his disposal.
Well, it's almost like a political thriller,
It is kind of
Lincoln working behind the scenes, navigating all these competing interests,
leveraging those relationships.
trying to secure the votes he needed.
It's a fascinating look at, his political skills.
It is.
He knew timing was everything.
Oh, yeah?
He had to get this amendment passed before his second term started.
Because?
Well, he knew the next Congress, it might not be so favorable.
Oh, right, with more Democrats.
And a lot of them, especially from those border states, they were dead set against abolishing slavery.
I think I'd imagine.
So he had to appeal to them, their patriotism, their conscience.
And sometimes, well, even their self-interest, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
There's this one story that really stands out to me.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
It's about Lincoln meeting with a congressman who had just lost his brother in the war.
Wow. Okay.
And Lincoln, he urges this guy, he says, you got to honor your brother's sacrifice. Vote for this amendment.
It's a way to make sure those lives weren't lost for nothing.
Exactly.
Powerful stuff.
It's an amazing example of Lincoln's ability to connect with people,
Yeah.
on a personal level, but also making that strategic argument.
And, he wasn't above a little political maneuvering either.
Oh, I bet.
There are stories about Lincoln, giving his allies the okay to do whatever it took to get those votes.
Like what? Promises of patronage.
Patronage, pressure from the president himself, even.
It shows, those tough choices, the compromises.
That sometimes come with making real change.
And the stakes were so high.
The highest.
And Lincoln, he was not going to let this amendment fare.
But then, just when it looked like, the amendment was about to pass,
yeah,
this rumor starts spreading.
Oh, what kind of rumor?
That Confederate peace commissioners were in Washington.
Meaning?
That maybe the war could end through negotiation.
Whoa, imagine that tension.
If it was true, it could have, totally derailed the amendment.
Some people might have seen it as, like, an obstacle to peace.
Yeah, that reconciliation should come first.
So what did Lincoln do?
He was in a tough spot.
He was.
He knew the rumor was true, but the Confederate representatives, they weren't actually in Washington yet.
So he couldn't deny it outright.
Exactly.
So how did he handle it?
He told Congressman James Ashley, the one who was leading the charge for the amendment, he said, the rumor is false.
But it wasn't.
But he added, so far as I know.
Or ever.
It was technically true, but also, kind of vague.
Strategically ambiguous.
Exactly.
So Ashley could reassure those wavering Democrats.
Keep everyone focused on the amendment.
And the vote. It went ahead.
January 31st, 1865.
Wow.
The House chamber, it must have been electric.
The sources, they really paint a vivid picture.
Packed gallery, so much tension.
Representatives from both sides getting up to speak.
Their words, they carried the weight of history.
And some of the most powerful speeches, they came from Democrats.
The ones who broke with their party to support the amendment.
They recognized the tide was turning.
They knew slavery had to end.
And then the vote.
It was close.
So close.
But it passed.
The 13th Amendment.
By the narrowest of margins.
Amazing.
Cheers, celebrations. You can't overstate how important this was.
The 13th Amendment, it made the end of slavery part of the Constitution.
Changed American history forever.
And Lincoln, he was so moved by this victory.
He was.
That he personally signed the amendment.
He didn't have to.
But he did.
A powerful symbol of his commitment.
It shows that leadership, it's not just about politics.
No, it's about conviction.
Fighting for what you believe is right.
And Lincoln, his belief in equality, well, it led to this profound, lasting change.
But even though, there was this celebration for the 13th Amendment, the sources, they remind us that the journey to true equality, it was far from over.
Oh, it was just beginning.
As the nation went from war to peace.
New challenges popped up.
Reconstructing the South. Integrating formerly enslaved people.
Dealing with those deep-seated prejudices that were still there.
Huge tasks.
Monumental.
And that leads us to another key part of this story.
Okay.
The creation of the Freedmen's Bureau.
Just weeks after the 13th Amendment passed.
It shows, this growing recognition that just ending slavery, it wasn't enough.
Freedom without support, it's not real freedom.
Exactly. And the Freedmen's Bureau, they had this huge job ahead of them.
Providing practical assistance to millions of newly freed people.
Food, clothing, shelter, education, even legal aid.
It was a start, a recognition that true equality meant addressing those inequalities that had held Black Americans back for so long.
And it's fascinating to see how this initiative, it kind of built on earlier efforts.
Like what?
Well, like General Sherman's Special Field Order number 15.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. The one that redistributed land to freed slaves in South Carolina and Georgia.
Exactly.
It shows how people were starting to understand that, achieving true equality meant tackling those systemic issues.
And these early efforts, even though they were imperfect and, they faced pushback.
They laid the groundwork for the civil rights movements that came later.
And the fight for racial justice that's still going on today.
It's a reminder that the pursuit of equality, it's a long process.
It takes constant work, activism, and a willingness to challenge the way things are.
Absolutely.
Now, while all these political and social changes were happening,
the war was still raging on.
It's wild to think that even as the Confederacy was falling apart, there were still attempts to negotiate some kind of peace.
A peace that would let them survive.
It's February 1865.
Okay.
The war's almost over. But both sides, they want peace.
They're tired of the fighting.
Lincoln agrees to meet with some Confederate representatives.
At the Hampton Roads Conference?
Held on a steamer, can you imagine?
Anchored right near the battle lines.
Wow, the tension in that room.
The fate of the nation right there on the table.
Lincoln, he's under so much pressure to end the war.
But he doesn't budge on his commitment to the Union.
And the Confederate delegation, they're still clinging to this hope of independence.
They proposed this joint effort against the French.
The French? Why?
They had invaded Mexico.
Oh, right.
So the Confederates thought maybe a common enemy could bring them together.
Wow, it's like a what-if scenario, you know?
It is.
The historians still debate it today.
Yeah.
But Lincoln, he saw right through it.
He did.
He knew it was a distraction from the real issue.
He insisted on reunification, on ending slavery, and on a ceasefire.
Those were his terms, no negotiation.
And in the end, well, that's what ended the talks.
Confederate representatives, they couldn't agree to those terms.
Their own government wouldn't let them.
So the war, it had to continue.
It was a missed opportunity.
Maybe an inevitable one, though, right?
Given how divided the nation was.
So as those final weeks of the war played out,
Yeah.
the nation held its breath.
The stage was set for the final act.
The one that would decide the fate of the Union and the future of freedom for millions. It's kind of mind-blowing to think, that while those peace talks were going on,
Yeah.
the last battles of the war were happening at the same time.
Crazy, right?
It really shows how fast everything was changing.
And how uncertain things were.
And like we talked about, the end of the war, it wasn't going to be this clean break.
Oh, definitely.
But are those deep scars, physical and emotional.
And the path forward for the country, well, it was anything but clear.
Exactly. And that kind of brings us back to something we talked about earlier.
Okay, what's that?
What were the long-term consequences of Sherman's, tactics in the South? I mean, his march, yeah, it might have helped end the war faster, but at what cost?
That's the question, isn't it?
The sources, they don't sugarcoat it.
What do they say?
The physical damage, it was massive. I mean, entire cities were in ruins, infrastructure was crippled, the farmland was destroyed.
Total war.
But it wasn't just the physical stuff, right?
No, of course not.
The psychological impact, that was huge.
Imagine going through that.
Seeing your home destroyed, your livelihood gone, that feeling of security just shattered.
The trauma from that march, it echoed for generations.
It shaped how people in the South felt, long after the war ended.
Absolutely.
And some historians say that those experiences,
Yeah.
they made the South resist Reconstruction.
Okay.
And they contributed to this whole lost cause idea,
Yeah.
that romanticized the Confederacy.
And downplayed slavery.
Exactly.
It's a sensitive topic.
It is.
There's no denying the war left a lot of bitterness, a lot of resentment.
And healing, I mean, that took a long time for the South.
It did.
But even with all that devastation,
Yeah.
there were some signs of hope, too.
What do you mean?
Well, the end of slavery, that was a major turning point. And then there was the Freedmen's Bureau, right? That showed a commitment to helping former slaves rebuild their lives.
It was a huge undertaking.
What?
They had so many challenges, not enough resources, people actively working against them.
But they did so much.
They provided education, healthcare.
It laid the foundation for the civil rights progress that came later.
It's inspiring,
It is.
to see people step up during that time.
Teachers going south to start schools, Black communities coming together, fighting for their rights.
It shows their resilience, their strength.
After everything they'd been through, they were determined to build a better future.
For themselves, for their families.
It reminds us that real change, it often comes from those grassroots movements, from people who refuse to accept things as they are.
Then who fight for a better world.
And that fight, well, we know it's still going on today.
The legacy of slavery, the Civil War, Reconstruction, it's all part of us.
And understanding those events, all their complexities, it's essential for facing the challenges we have now. This deep dive, it's been a powerful reminder of how everything in history is connected.
It is.
We've seen how military actions, political decisions, social movements, they all came together to shape events and the lives of millions.
It's a story that keeps echoing through time,
It does.
It challenges us to confront the truth, to grapple with the past, to work towards a future where everyone is truly free and equal.
Well said.
Thank you.
If you found this deep dive as thought-provoking as we did, make sure to join us next time. We'll be exploring more fascinating and important stories from history.